Hi, y'all. My name is Sarah Devlin, and today we're going to be talking about art as a hobby a little bit. This was something I touched on in my Not a Starving Artist tag. I'll link to that. And we're just going to be kind of talking over, as it were, my Inktober for October 10th. And yeah, so let's get started. You can see here a little bit of what the tools I'm using. The prompt for that day was flowing. And real quick, I'm just going to use some Sakura Pigma Micron pens, a white Jelly Roll pen, and some, I don't know what they are. They're some kind of tinted markers. I'll leave it down below, but I'm not sure. Anyway, so when I was doing that tag, I spent some time talking about how I do art for a hobby, and it's really hard sometimes when you're presented with all these people on YouTube who are professional artists or working to become professional artists, and you feel really overwhelmed, like, oh, I'm never going to be as good as them. Maybe you do want to do some things professionally with art someday, but it's just not, your main goal in life. It's just really hard to feel adequate, I guess. And I know I've had that problem a lot, but you have to sit down and remind yourself this is something I do for fun. If I can't do Inktober every day, or I can't sketch every day, or I can't spend hours every day doing studies or anything like that, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you don't have to get paid for your hobby for it to be meaningful. And I feel like that's a trap we fall into a lot, especially in our society, a very capitalistic society. Late stage capitalism tells us that in order to be, worthwhile as a person, everything I do has to have value, which in of itself isn't true, but it becomes especially insidious when the quote value unquote is monetary value. So I enjoy drawing, I enjoy, sketching, I enjoy painting. Okay, but can I make money off of it? Like, can I get good enough to sell my paintings? Can I get good enough to have a YouTube channel where I make tons of ad revenue? It doesn't even have to be traditional art. It can be this, or it can be, it could be maybe you like to modify Monster High dolls. That's something I've been getting into, and it's like, okay, I have to have I have to have a lot of content for my channel with this. I have to make money off of it. I have to sell them for commission, or I have to have commissions. I have to sell them in my Etsy shop. You don't have to enjoy it. Like, you can just enjoy things. And I understand how hard it is when all you're seeing, especially in social media and on YouTube, is people who spend hours upon hours upon hours every day practicing and working. And they have every right to, because it is their job. But it's okay if it's not your job. You are allowed to enjoy things that you do for fun. Like, I don't draw every day, generally speaking. Like, that's why I love Inktober. It gets me drawing every day. And it takes up a lot of time. Like, this drawing, I think, took me an hour, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure before I compressed all the footage, But, okay, I do my other hobbies less. Like, maybe I knit less. Maybe I read less. I just, I kind of shift things around. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look amazing. It doesn't have to be ready to go up on your Redbubble or whatever. It can just be something you're doing for fun. Like, I could have spent a lot of time on the cup. Like, the cup is a little bit too big and the bottle's kind of coming out of nowhere and it's, not exactly centered. But, like, I had fun with this. I had fun coming up with a story when I posted this on my Instagram and Twitter. Like, I like coming up with a story to go with it. It includes, my other, not so much a hobby, that's something I want to, do as a career. Writing, like, it includes that. Like, you can find ways to bring everything you love into your life without feeling the need to be perfect at it. You don't need to be perfect at it. You don't need to be perfect at painting. You don't need to be perfect at singing. You don't have to play every video game on hard to enjoy it. And I know I'm just kind of rambling, but think of this as being given permission by your YouTube fairy godmother, I guess, to do things that you enjoy and not be perfect at them. It's okay if you suck. It's okay if you're just kind of mediocre. It's okay if, when you begin, you're like, oh man, I am really great at this. And then you realize it's just kind of beginner's luck and you have to work really hard to get better at it. And it's okay if you realize, I don't have time to spend hours every day practicing this thing I enjoy to get really good at it. That's okay. You can just be mediocre at a thing and enjoy it. Like, I'm not kidding myself. I don't think I'm going to ever be great at drawing, but that's okay. I practice at the rate I have time for, and I enjoy it, and I appreciate what I can do, and I appreciate the progress I have made. And that's another thing, appreciating the progress you have made at your own speed. Like, I know my drawing, a lot of people probably look at what I post on YouTube and they're like, oh, yikes, that's a mess compared to what some other people publish. But that's okay. If you go look at my Inktober video from last year and then look at this drawing, which I am hoping to do a comparison video of at the end of the month, I've improved a lot. Does it look great? No. Does it look like something that you'd normally see on YouTube? Maybe not. But that's okay because I've improved at my own rate. I've drawn with, the amount of time I've had in my life. I've drawn when I had time, when I wanted to, and I've just enjoyed it. And yeah, like I said in the Not a Starving Artist tag, I would like to do a few things professionally with art someday. Like I would like to have my own tarot deck design, but right now that's just not in the cards for me, pun intended. But when the time comes for that, I will focus on that a lot more because it's not a hobby. It's something that I would like to make money from. But if that never is an option for me, that's okay. If it is an option for you and you decide, I do want to go after this, that's fine too. I'm not saying that making money off of your art is somehow lesser. But I'm also saying, regardless of whether you make money or not off your art, it doesn't increase or decrease the enjoyment or the validity of what you do, if that makes sense. And I am totally doing this without a script, so we'll see how this turns out. And I would also like to point out that you can practice something, if this is your only hobby, if you're a student and you don't have a job, or if, you're in a position right now where you're unemployed and you haven't found a job, or, you don't need to work for whatever reason, and you want to get really good at your hobby. Like if it's drawing, if it's sculpting with polymer clay, if it's, carving birds out of hunks of wood you find on the sidewalk, whatever it is. And you want to get really good at it, and you do. And, you're like top of your like field, or like you're really good in the I hate the term industry, but like for your hobby, you're really good. Like you're up there. You're like the Michelangelo of carving birds out of pieces of street wood. Okay, you still don't have to sell it. If you just enjoy doing this, like making things for yourself and your friends and your family, or maybe just for yourself, or maybe you just give them away on your Instagram. Like, okay, you give away these things you make because you want to bring joy to other people. That's fine. You don't have to make any money off of it. And one final thing. If you do decide, I have sewn all these things, or I have carved all these things, or I've painted all these things, I don't have room for them, or I would like some more money to buy more supplies to make more things, and you have an Etsy shop, that's great. You don't need to make a living off of it. You do not need to make a living off of your art. You do not need to sell your art. You do not have to be amazing at your art. That is like the three main points of what I wanted to get across. And I hope this rambling, me talking about my feelings about this, makes you feel like you can just enjoy your art. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to practice at the rate a professional artist does to make it valid. And that's really it. I hope you enjoyed this drawing, and I will see you next week for something else. I'm not sure what. But yeah, that is everything I have to say today on this topic. If you have any thoughts, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think and what you do and whether you get paid for it or not. But yeah, that's everything. I hope you all are having a really good day. Bye.